Welcome guys, my name's Regan McCaffrey. I'm the fine wine manager here at Glengarry, and today we're going to be looking at two brand new sparkling wines from Allan Scott family winemakers in Marlborough. Now, Allan Scott really was there right at the beginning in Marlborough. Nobody knows more about grape growing in the region than he does. He planted not only some of the most famous vineyards, but also the very first vineyard in Marlborough. 1990 established his own company, Allan Scott Family Winemakers, and it's very much a family affair. Him and his wife Catherine oversee the operation. His son Josh is in charge of the winemaking, and his daughters Sarah and Victoria run the viticulture and the marketing. So being based in Marlborough, many of you would know Allan Scott Family Winemakers for their wonderful Sauvignon Blanc. But if you've been following them closely over the past few years, they've really started to carve out a niche for themselves in method traditionale or sparkling wine in New Zealand. Some fantastic examples are coming out of Marlborough, and many of these are being made by Allan Scott. So we're very pleased today to be trying two new bubblies from their range, one from the Scott base range, the Emperor, and the other one from Allan Scott Family Winemakers, the Sasa. Right, so let's start with the Emperor. So the grapes for this come from Central Otago. Now, not a lot of people know these sparkling wines from Central Otago, and that's because they're made in quite small quantities, and many of them actually don't reach the public because they're drunk by the winemakers themselves down there. This is a Blanc de Blanc, so 100% Chardonnay, both of these wines are. And this was inoculated with wild yeast from the 2009 vintage, kept for quite a long time on the lees, so in contact with that yeast, about 3 years, and given just a very small dosage, just 8 grams per litre of residual sugar. And it really has that classic Chardonnay character we get out of Central Otago method, which is kind of a honey beeswaxy character. There's a lovely fine mousse on the palate as well, which is the texture of the bubbles. And we get that from that extra time resting in the bottle before it's disgorged. Right, now we're moving to Marlborough, really a classic area for method traditionale production in New Zealand. And this is really a reserve method traditionale. The Sasa, also from the 2009 vintage, also 100% Chardonnay, so another Blanc de Blanc. Now this one was inoculated with specific champagne yeasts, so not wild yeast like the Emperor was. Also spent a very, very long time in the bottle, at least 3 years, aging on the lees. Slightly higher dosage in this, 9.5 grams per litre, but very, very elegant this wine, really fine small bubbles. Another thing that's interesting about this wine is the liqueur d'exposition, or the dosage that they added at the end there, also has a little bit of cognac in it, which just helps like a little bit of complexity in the wine there. Very, very fine on the palate, very, very elegant. This is a beautiful New Zealand method traditionale. So both of these wines are made by the method traditionale, or what used to be known as the method champenois, which means they're made exactly the same way as the wines of Champagne, just our New Zealand version on them. So I hope you liked the presentation today. These are both two fantastic method traditionale. If you like the rest of the Allan Scott range, especially some of the other bubblies, make sure you go out and try these, especially the Sasa, just a wonderful, wonderful wine. So you can of course buy both of these wines online straight away, or come into any of our shops to pick them up as well. Make sure you try both of these, both fantastic examples of New Zealand method traditionale. You can follow us on Facebook, of course, and on Twitter, either twitter.com/GlengarryWine or my own personal Twitter, twitter.com/FineWineTwitter with an A. Thanks guys, we'll see you next time.